Hi, I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Good morning, this is Jonathan Small, host and producer of All About You. This program is broadcast every week at AccessTV.org studios in downtown Hartford. And this show is designed to give my guests a chance to give their life story. This morning I have a very high profile guest visiting. He is the president of Back9Network, Carlos Silva. Good morning, Carlos. How you doing?
Good morning, Jonathan. Thanks for having me this morning.
Okay, it's no problem. Could you kind of let people know exactly where you were born and raised?
Sure. I was actually born in Washington, D.C. And grew up right outside of Washington, D.C. in Bethesda, Maryland and Potomac, Maryland.
Now, what was that like growing up in that type of area?
It was great. Actually, my father came from Puerto Rico to go to medical school at George Washington University and stayed. And then we grew up there, and he stayed at GW his entire career.
Well, what did you like to do growing up in metropolitan D.C. growing up?
You know, I played sports. Sports was a big part of my life. I ran, and then I played tennis, and then pursued tennis throughout my sort of junior high school, and then into college.
Now, you had some pretty impressive accomplishments. You're a triathlete, an Ironman competitor. Your team, the Big East, won, I believe, 4 championships in tennis.
Yeah, we had a pretty good run we had a little bit of the glow from the Flutie era. If you remember the great past, Doug Flutie was a couple of years ahead of us, but Boston College athletics got a lot of great. You know, all the teams got a great glow from the Flutie era, and we worked hard. We got lucky. We won 4 Big East championships and a bunch of singles and doubles titles on a personal level, which was really great.
Well, did you enjoy playing tennis? Was that one of your favorite sports?
It was pretty much my life. And after college, I went and tried the little mini tour to try and make a go of it as a professional, and earned a little bit of money before I went and did a master's degree, actually back at GW.
Well, you never really had no deep aspirations of trying to go all the way in tennis?
Sure, I did.
Oh, you did?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's all I really wanted to do. But you know, when you have some other opportunities and you realize how hard it is, you kind of get to that point where you know if you're going to be able to break through or not. I'm glad I tried it. I earned a little bit of money. I could say that I was actually a professional for a day. You know, when you lose a match and you still get handed a check, that's when you know you're a professional, even if it's a small amount of money.
Right.
But it was fun, and I'm glad a couple of my buddies didn't do it. I'm glad I gave it a try and saw what it was like out there.
Well, who were some of your favorite players that you grew up with?
You know, I grew up in that great sort of golden era when, you know, McEnroe and Borg, and, you know, at the end of Connor's, you know, sort of era, there were just some great players. And then as, you know, I got a little older, the sort of the Agassi-Sampras, you know, kind of rivalry. There's just some great U.S. Opens down the road here in New York, and just remember watching them growing up.
Did you ever get a chance to meet any of these professional players?
You know, a bunch of them. I actually had a coach from Colombia, South America that I grew up with, almost like a family member to me, and he would always bring the players when they would come to Washington over to his house to play. And so, you know, all the South American players would come, and I'd sit around as a 12 or 14-year-old kid and, you know, watch them play and you know, hear their stories. And it was a great thing, great opportunity growing up to be a part of that.
Well, who was your favorite player, though, before he get into that?
You know, probably McEnroe. I mean, I really admired, you know, although he was, you know, fiery on the court, I just admired his sort of, his hands and how great, you know, the great control that he had over hitting shots, and certainly in that era, serving volleying, which was sort of a big deal for me because that was my game.
Now, this drive and passion that you have for sports, did that kind of translate into your other career goals?
You know, I've been very lucky as I came out and got involved in sort of media technology, and then added sports to the mix, coming up and having sold a company, an interactive television company, to AOL back in 1998. I had the opportunity to run news and sports, which were the biggest traffic channels there at AOL, and being part of what the NFL was doing and streaming live games. You know, we were able to stream March Madness, that Thursday at noon game, which which really not too long ago wasn't on television. You know, you go back 10 or 12 years, not every game was on television. We were actually streaming that on the internet back in the AOL heyday in 2003, which was the first time that March Madness's Thursday game was streamed. And so I was able to really be part of a lot of new, not only technology pieces, but adding sports and a little bit of news back in the day. I mean, we even did some interesting things, like when the Pope was going to be, when the smoke was going to come out of the chimney at the Vatican, there was a 24-hour camera that you could actually go on AOL on the news area, and it was called the Pope Cam, and you could actually just check out the chimney to see when the smoke was going to come out. And so, it's interesting now. You fast forward 10 or 12 years, and so much of that is available on either online or all the cable networks. But back then we were really sort of blazing a new trail and doing some really cool and fun things.
Now, when you graduated college, was you more prepared or interested for cable or television or the internet format? Which kind of area was you most?
I don't think any of them. I don't think
Okay.
I did when I was at Boston College, I did an undergraduate in business.
Okay.
But I did a minor in computer science. And so it was a little bit funny because I was taking accounting and finance courses at the same time while I was taking a bunch of computer science courses. I ended up feeling, because BC wasn't an engineering school, that maybe I should move on and do some more stuff on the technology side. So I went to GW and got a master's in computer science. So when I came out of GW, I started to sort of go down the technology route first. Some of the older guests will remember Prodigy, which was an early online service that was down in White Plains, New York. And so I actually ended up going to Prodigy as a designer when the internet really wasn't going yet. I mean, this is really early. Okay. And so then, as I sort of made my way through some companies and ended up then at AOL, things started to change. And then AOL was really kind of the first online company that was a media company. And so we sort of acted like a media company, and we did advertising like a media company, and we did content like a media company. Just happened to be all online. And then obviously those worlds collided when AOL bought Time Warner, and we started doing more things with HBO and with CNN and with Sports Illustrated. And that really launched into really the media side of my career. And then I went and helped start the first network that I started, which became Universal Sports, which was an Olympic sports network. And then that actually led me to Back9Network here in Hartford, Connecticut, a golf lifestyle network where we'll take that golf canvas and create a 24-hour network for all the enthusiasts that love to live the golf lifestyle.
Well, didn't you also have to be involved with NBC Sports putting that deal? Did you have some type of role involved with NBC Sports? When
we were Universal Sports, we were part of the NBC family. So we started the Olympic Sports Network as a little company called World Championship Sports Network. And we actually started that out online as well. In fact, we streamed, the first event we did was the 2006 Track and Field World Championships, when Justin Gatlin actually won the 100 meters and became the world champion. And I remember we actually sent that video we owned, and we sent that video to Yahoo and ESPN from a Starbucks in Bethesda, Maryland, because we didn't have an office yet and we were really just starting out. But we owned the rights to the video, so if it was going to be on ESPN or Yahoo or any of the other outlets that we could put it, we needed to get it to them, and we had to actually send it over the internet from a Starbucks. That company became Universal Sports and part of the NBC family.
Now, you mentioned Bethesda, Maryland. That's a very affluential area of the country. Has a tremendous educational system. It has a very high standard of living. Did you still continue to live in that particular area of the country?
Yeah, Bethesda and Potomac is actually where I grew up. I left, I went away. I left, I went away, and came back. My family is there. My kids are almost done with high school, and then once they're done with high school, we'll actually move up here and continue to grow the Back9 network.
Okay, so you'll be commuting kind of back and forth.
Yeah, for right now it's hard with the kids just finishing up high school. You can't take them out at the very end. That didn't seem fair. One of the great things about DC and Hartford is that there's a great quick connection. It's just 50 minutes in the air, so I can get back and forth. But I live here live here. We're building a new network and trying to get it going. And then the family's just, sort of finishing up high school down in the Washington, D.C. area.
Okay. So you enjoy traveling now? Because you say you have to commute back and forth every now and then.
I
So
do.
you
I do. I travel quite a bit, and it's sort of been part of my professional career. It seems like I've been traveling, whether it's been to Atlanta or New York or Los Angeles or all the different places over the years, and now Hartford. I've gotten good at it, maybe too good at it.
Well, I guess, when you are pursuing a career in media and business at the level that you're at, you kind of have to be prepared to travel. I mean, if anything comes up, you have to be in a position to always be able to get to point A.
Absolutely. Yeah, look, it's a great job. We have a great opportunity, and you just go wherever you have to go to get it done.
Okay.
I really think my father taught me that. I mean, as a doctor, if somebody called him at 2 o'clock in the morning and needed an appendix taken out, what did he do? He got up and he went to work at 2 a.m. It's just the way it worked. And I sort of learned that. So if I need to be, someone called me today and said that we've got a show concept or a new producer or something that's going on in LA and you got to be in LA, you get to LA.
You get to LA.
And you just get it done because it's not going to get done by itself.
And then you have to have your family to understand that these things can always come up. So you have a very understanding family. That
you have to have the support at home so that you can go get that stuff done. Absolutely.
Okay. Before we get to your position as the president of Back9Network, didn't you start off as the COO first? Was you a chief operating officer?
As I actually came in originally, I came in as an advisor.
Okay.
Having done a network once before, I had maybe a little bit of a hangover after doing it the first time. So when I met James Bosworth and Reid Gorman, the two founders of Back9Network, I sort of started off as a little bit of a friend and advisor, and kind of was here a day or two a week for about a year, sort of helping out. And then we decided that we liked each other, and then I joined as president. Back a little bit over a year ago.
Okay.
Full time.
Full time. Okay.
Yes.
Now, I know Back9Network is an up and starting golf network, and there's high backers involved in this project, like Clint Eastwood. Did you ever get a chance to meet Clint Eastwood?
Yeah, we get to spend a little time with him. He helps us out with a lot of our creative. He also helps out a lot with the on-air talent, and he's out on the West Coast. So whenever we're actually out on the West Coast, we try to find some time with him. And Jamie actually got to know Clint way back when he was an assistant pro at Pebble Beach. So he's been friends with Clint for probably close to 20 years.
Okay. Now, I know this question might be a little bit better designed for James Bosworth, the owner, but I'll still ask you to get your opinion. Why would a golf network look at Hartford, Connecticut? Because when you think of golf, you think of Orlando, Florida. You think of Arizona. You might think of California. Now, I know you didn't really start the company as the owner, but why do you think Jamie decided to bring Back9Network here to Hartford?
Well, some of it is that he was here.
Okay.
This was his idea along with a few other people, and he was here. And the state of Connecticut has been so supportive. They were able to give some opportunity to the network to be here, to help us build out the studio in downtown Hartford. We've got a great infrastructure of people, whether it's with ESPN down the road, whether it's with WWE down in Stamford or NBC Sports Network, down in Stamford. There's a great sports and media base here in Connecticut, and I think as it continued to grow, it just seemed to be a better idea. And then with the help from the governor's office and the state of Connecticut to help get us, get some money and get us started here downtown. It's been great, and the local community is amazing. I mean, we're right in the Phoenix building downtown. We've gotten great support from them as well, and one of our board members is the CEO of Phoenix, and the local community, the local investors have just been amazing.
So really, when you say those other sports media companies like ESPN and NBC Sports, Back9Network really doesn't look at that as competing with those other networks?
No, not really. In fact, we see those other very mature networks as opportunities, as folks that have been there for years and years maybe are looking for a new and exciting opportunity, maybe a little bit what those networks looked like 10 or 15 years ago. That's really Back9Network. And so as a result, we've gotten some really talented staff that have moved over, that have helped grow our talent base and help us grow both our audience on the digital side, and then now with our impending television launch, help us put together production, shows, our scheduling, our technology, all of those things for the network. So it's been great to have access to those talent pools.
Okay. We're just about up on our break, but I definitely want to get to, well, let's take the break now. Then I want to come back and get towards your role as the president of Back9Network.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yes, this is Jonathan Small. I'm hosting All About You this morning with my guest, President Carlos Silva, and we will be right back very shortly. Thank you.
I'm very happy to be here tonight to congratulate and support AccessTV.org. AccessTV.org has reached hundreds and thousands of people. It's done a great job informing the community about important issues in our city, our state, and our nation. I congratulate Stan McCauley and Naisha for the job they've done. And now with their new format, which will reach many more people, and which will be available through many more formats, the future is very bright for AccessTV.org. Congratulations, and may you continue your mission of informing our community. Thank you very much.
At Hartford Public Schools, we care about one thing above all, the future of our kids. That's why we're dedicated to providing all students with the knowledge and skills needed in the new global culture. Hartford Public Schools is thriving. More student success stories, more world-class facilities, more university and corporate partnerships, more amazing talent coming and staying in Hartford. This is how education is supposed to work. Welcome to Hartford Public Schools, where the future is present.
This is Jonathan Small again. I'm hosting All About You this morning with my guest, President of Back9Network, Carlos Silva. Carlos, we left off trying to let people know exactly what Back9Network is aiming for and all of the ins and outs about this golf network. But currently, you are the president of Back9Network. So basically, what is your day-to-day operational duties that you have to do?
You know, it's been interesting because we're in a transition zone right now with Back9Network. We've been building the audience. We've been continuing to raise money so that we've got the assets to build the television network, and we've been working on distribution, as everybody knows. There's a lot of great things happening on all of those fronts, and we continue to move the ball down the road. But from a day-to-day operational standpoint, we actually start our day out with a 9 o'clock editorial meeting. That the team that's growing the audience and reaching out to the golf lifestylers that are part of the Back9Network, whether it's putting stories together, understanding sort of where the trends are going, looking at whether in the case of the Kentucky Derby a couple of weeks ago, some of the high-profile golfers were there with their wives. Tracking them, understanding where that audience goes, and bringing sort of that day-to-day content that you got to put together. That's been our outlet right now on Back9Network.com. We're the fastest growing website in the golf industry. We're growing 25% in terms of audience and traffic on a monthly basis, so things are going great there. But that's also helped to sort of prove out our thesis around that it's not just about the pro game, and that currently the golf industry is sort of talking to the same 10% of the golfers, but sort of just regular guys that just love the game. There's still 80% of the market that nobody's talking to, and that's the golf lifestyle. Those are the folks that are going out and all week long they want to get out with their buddies and they want to play, and they want to go out and have a beer afterwards and hang out and just enjoy the golf lifestyle. And so on a day-to-day basis, we continue to grow that. We also work with our really great investors to continue to make sure that the company is well funded and we can be set up for success, because it's not easy to build a television and media network, and you do need to have great supporters and great funding to make it happen. So that's part of our day-to-day. And then the other piece is really about distribution and working with the cable and satellite operators on a day-to-day basis. We've been at it for a couple of years, and that continues to get very, very close. And I think some exciting things are going to happen very shortly around the television network launching. And then the last piece is sort of just infrastructure, and you see some of it in Constitution Plaza around building out our studio. We've also got some great office space and studio space where if you go to Back9Network.com, you can see some of the content with James Bosworth and Charles Everett, two of our hosts that are producing and creating content on a daily basis at Back9Network.com. That will now transition as we start to put together all the shows for the television network, both the live shows that'll come out of the studio, but also some of the primetime shows that we'll do with co-productions with some LA-based production companies.
Well, is the studio complete, or do you have any more building or work that has to be done?
The infrastructure of the studio is complete, and now some of the facade and some of the fit and finish of the studio is in place. And as we enter the summer here with Memorial Day, it will get done this summer.
Now, you say you're on the web, but you still are pursuing to get a cable distribution deal and a satellite deal.
Correct.
Is that a very difficult process?
It's a very difficult process. It's why not many new cable networks launch. You've got to have great supporters and great funding, but you've also got to prove out your thesis that there's an audience. And so what we've been doing on the digital side is continuing to grow that audience, because the distributors also like to see that there is a want for the Back9 network, that a golf lifestyle network should exist, and we continue to do that with some really great growth on the digital side.
Well, is it more difficult because basically Back9 Network is a startup network comparable to a conglomerate?
I think it's always when you're the little guy, it can be difficult. It also lets you do some things maybe a little quicker and a little more nimble. But sure, when you're the David and Goliath here, sometimes it can be difficult, but I think that's where the pleasure comes, when you can really get it over the finish line when you're the little guy, and you can either partner with a bigger company or get that distribution deal on your own. And we're pursuing both and feel really good about the opportunity that we've got to be a television network.
Well, pursuing the distribution deal, is that one of your main daily duties, or duties that you have to be involved with?
It is. The team there has really been myself and Jamie, and then Charles Cox, our CFO and head of business development, and that triangle of a team has really been meeting. You name the cable or satellite operator, and we've been meeting with them. We felt very strongly that instead of hiring a distribution person, that those distributors would want to meet the senior management team. So, some combination of the three of us are in every single meeting. They all would like to meet Jamie and understand his vision for the network. Charles comes from ESPN and has done a lot of great work in launching international networks at ESPN over the years. And I've launched a network before. So they want to meet the founders. And so we go in there ourselves and we take those meetings, and I think it's made a big difference.
Well, wasn't Jamie very close with Back9 Network to getting a distribution, close to getting a distribution deal with Time Warner, and then this latest proposed merger between Comcast and Time Warner kind of changed things? Was that a little bit accurate? Or was it some?
Yeah, well, Jamie was also down in Washington. He testified on the Senate Judiciary Committee around the Time Warner and Comcast merger. And we've been working hard with Time Warner Cable and Comcast and all the satellite operators to get a deal done. And we're just continuing to stay positive, work hard, and we're very hopeful that we'll have a deal done very shortly.
Well, the cable distribution deal is where you get the bulk of your revenue coming in, or is it a little bit more to it than that?
In any television network, there's two revenue streams. The cable operators actually pay the network after a few years, and then you've got your advertising revenue.
Okay.
And so those are the two ways that the network will make money. And then the advertising revenue will also be spread across multiple platforms, both television, which is the big part of it, but as well as online.
Well, does these latest mergers kind of change the whole scope on how, companies will have to pursue, to grow or to get started? When you hear these mergers like Dish and AT&T and the possibility of Time Warner and Comcast, does that make it a little bit more difficult now?
It definitely changes the landscape. Some of it is when big companies merge, sometimes things don't happen. And when you're the little guy trying to get deals done, sometimes when big companies merge, things don't happen. But we've actually already seen that even in the middle of some of these big announcements, things continue to move in a positive fashion for Back9Network. So we haven't seen that slowdown too much, and we'll just continue to keep working with them and working on getting our deals done.
Now, I know Back9Network is bringing in some high-profile people. Ahmad Rashar is going to be your executive producer and a host. Is that something that you think is going to attract a lot of people to the network?
We do, and Ahmad's now been working with us, throughout the year, working on his show, also bringing some feedback. I mean, he's been in the industry for a really long time, and has some great access and has just seen a lot on the television and media landscape. So he gives us some feedback and advice across our shows, but he's also working on his own show, and we'll have a primetime show. He's got some great guests and some access to some great guests, and Ahmad really lives the Back9 lifestyle too, and it's why he loves it, and it's why he's part of the team. So we're pretty excited about it.
Well, one thing about Back9Network is it's going to be different than, let's say, the Golf Channel that just strictly focuses on the game of golf. You're kind of going to show people the other side of golf?
We are. We're inviting everybody in, and we really think it's important that golf is fun, that everyone understands that the golf lifestyle can be your lifestyle whether you play once, never, or 50 times a year. It's for everyone. I mean, even in the case of my family, I'll play, but my kids don't. But they might come out with me to the cart. They might, on a Sunday come down to the grill room and enjoy a beautiful setting to hang out and be part of that golf lifestyle. And the Back9Network really is about inviting everyone in, reminding everyone that golf is a game and golf is fun, and that you can go out with your friends, families, and buddies and just have a really great time. The mix of studio shows that we'll do here out of our Hartford studios, as well as our primetime shows, which will be more reality based. We've got a great show about some guys called Ball Hogs. It's a company that actually goes into the ponds and lakes at golf courses and reclaims golf balls and then sells those golf balls. It's a business, but it's a family. It's sort of a little bit of our Duck Dynasty-esque show, but golf is the canvas there. But you don't have to be a golfer to love that show. It's a fun show about some folks that are trying to run a business and the trials and tribulations that happen to them.
Yes. Well, hopefully a lot of people here locally will be able to get more, information about Back9Network, because you're basically downtown, and the downtown is trying to start a new rebirth. And basically, I think Back9Network can play a role in this new rebirth of our downtown area. Yeah,
we're excited. We're excited about the studio and the buzz and the sort of the energy that we're contributing, and it seems to be making a big difference, and I think it'll continue to grow in the coming months.
Now, I guess when you trying to start a network, because I think I heard Jamie mention one time that at some case the ultimate goal will be eventually to be bought out. Is that how you have to look at it now in this era, that even when you feel like you have a successful company, that at some point the big conglomerates are just going to come to you and make you an offer, and it's just going to be so attractive, it's going to be hard to turn down? Is it more to it than that, or that's something?
That's something that we think about, but I think what we're thinking about right now is building Back9Network as a great asset and a great destination that people love and want to tune in and watch.
Right.
And if you do that, then there'll always be opportunities, whether it's, any of the big companies that own multiple networks or even are in and around the golf business, whether they're showing live golf or otherwise. But the task at hand right now is building and launching and building the network and really making it great. So that's what we concentrate on every day.
And then I know one thing about Back9Network is you have signed a 10-year lease here in downtown Hartford. So that definitely shows some commitment that the company has towards the city.
Towards the city and the state and really the revitalization of that downtown area, which we think we can. When that studio gets lit up and it's active and there's shows going on, and there's umbrellas outside, I think it's just going to really bring a lot of great energy to that area.
Well, this town used to have professional hockey, the Hartford Whalers, and that kind of brought a lot of attention and attractions. People was real excited. And I think now with this golf network, maybe with the right promotions, people can start to look at this network. I'm not saying it has to be a replacement of the Hartford Whalers, but at least kind of maybe put this town on the map in a little bit of a different area. And
yeah, the Whalers are a great brand, and you still hear about them and feel their presence. But we hope we can fill a small piece of that. I mean. The hockey stick's a little bit bigger than a golf club, but it's okay. Maybe we can get launched and continue to grow and continue to hire great people and bring a little bit of that energy and buzz to the plaza.
Well, as the president, I mean, that's a very high level. So you have a lot of responsibilities when you are the president. Do many people out there really understand the job of a president of a network or a company, the responsibilities that go along with it? You think that's something that you can kind of share to people?
Look, I'm blessed that I can have such a great position, and as difficult as work can be, or the problems that everyone has at work, I always step back and realize that I've got a great opportunity to work with great people that are a lot of fun, that also work as hard as I do, and we all work hard because we love what we're doing, and we have a great chance to be part of launching a network. And having done it once before, I can tell you that it's like family. And when you get to see your network, the lights turn on, and wherever you might be in a bar or a restaurant, you might be on an airplane, you might be sitting in a friend's family room, and you turn on your channel and you get to see it. It's really amazing. And so there are pressures, sure. You work hard every day and you try to get something done every single day. It's kind of our mantra. We had a little company meeting yesterday, and Jamie was talking just about that. What are the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 things you're going to get done every single day? And it doesn't matter whether you're the founder, the CEO, the president, the CFO, or COO. We all pick up the shovel and dig to get something done every day, and that's fun.
Well, you kind of took the last words out of my mouth, that it's a fun job and you enjoy what you're doing and you embrace the challenges that come along with this particular job.
Every day, every day. None of us would want it any other way. It's what gets us up in the morning, and you dive into it again every day. And what's really great about the management team at Back9 is we're all sort of like player managers. It doesn't matter whether we got to run something down to FedEx or go grab sandwiches for a meeting. It doesn't matter. We all will do it, or go to some high profile meeting. It's whatever you got to do to get it done, and we have a good time doing it.
You work as a team. That's the key.
We do.
Right there.
Yeah.
Are there any last words you would like people to know about Carlos Silva before we end this program?
No, just great to have the opportunity, here in Connecticut to meet you,
right,
and let people know about Back9Network, and they should just know how excited I am and how the entire team is excited at Back9Network to get this done for Hartford.
Okay. Well, I wish you all the best of luck at Back9Network with your new plans going into the ending part of this year. And hopefully at some point I can possibly meet the owner, Jamie.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Thanks so much.
No problem. This is Jonathan Small. I had enjoyed hosting this program this morning with my guest, president of Back9Network, Carlos Silva. And pretty much there's a lot of great shows that you could always watch on accesstv.org throughout the week. And as I also say to people out there, have a very blessed day and keep the faith. Thank you.